Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to War Games.
Would you like to play a game?
So let's talk a little bit about what's next in this current unpleasantness. What is the next play? So in a previous video, we talked how they would use food and starvation as a weapon, and we're already starting to see their next move, which is economic oppression and isolation. I do believe that the recent round of restrictions concerning that is definitely the mark of the beast. Never in history has there been a time when the populations could be so completely controlled as to decide who gets to purchase goods and services, who gets to work, and who doesn't. And never before have they had the technology available to track every person's behavior, every person's purchasing structure, every person's finances. And Mr. Eidenbay has just recently come out and reduced the investigative power of the feds to look into your bank account from, I believe it was $5,000. They would look at anything over 5,000. Now it's 600. So any financial involvement in your account that's over a $600, whether it's a purchase or a deposit, will be investigated by the feds. So they're going to clamp down on banking. That's already happening. There are certain people who are prohibited persons now because of their political stance, and they are no longer allowed to have bank accounts with a lot of the major banks. I personally bank with one of the smallest banks I can find, locally owned, operated, few branches. And I do this because they are less likely to cooperate with the feds in doing things that violate the Constitution and or banking codes, where in fact the major corporation banks, who shall remain unnamed, but the top five, are working openly with the deep state against patriots, and they are labeling us as a problem, and they're helping the feds. So if you do business with one of these major banks, please change to a smaller local bank, not just for your own protection, but also to protest what they're doing in cooperating with the federal overreach that we are now seeing by executive decision. What are they called? Executive orders. And so these executive orders are subverting the Constitution. They're violating your privacy on every front. So one of the next things is total economic isolation. You can't work without the you know what. You can't shop without the passport. And this is going to continue until we are completely isolated and will have to survive basically on the barter system. And you can isolate yourself and insulate yourself from the federal overreach by doing business on a local level, by getting away from the big corporations, by working out a side gig and a side dodge if you can. Unfortunately, most of them are tied to the internet, and access to the internet will also start to be restricted to only those who are good citizens. The social credit score that we see in China and now developing also in other countries is more or less already in place here and will soon be implemented. And that's what's next in all of this is if you post the wrong thing, if you say the wrong thing, if you take the wrong stance, if you back the wrong candidate, you will not be allowed to function on the internet. You won't be allowed to function in banking. You won't be able to have a job. You won't be able to feed your family. I don't know how we stop this apart from declaration of war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But protecting your freedoms. They're cornering us. I feel the noose tightening, don't you? I feel the overreach extending into our daily lives on an ever increasing basis. And so, along with using food as a weapon, they will start restricting products that will be shipped into red states. You'll get to where you won't be able to purchase the things you normally purchase at any price and at any cost because they simply will not be sending certain items that are from corporations that are in league with the deep state and this global takeover. So those companies, it'll get to where you can't go into Walmart. where you can't order from Walmart.com unless you have the passport. I'm hearing now is something that's already starting to happen is that landlords are requiring their tenants to be, you know what, before they will let them rent. So if you're renting a place and you refuse to get the you know what, then they're not going to let you live in that place anymore. And you'll have to find another place to live, maybe in a van down by the river. But whatever it takes, that's what it takes. And those of us who are willing to resist and not take the mark of the jab will be, that's what I'm going to start calling it, the mark of the jab. We won't submit to the passport and to the global credit score and the social credit score system. Those of us who refuse will be isolated, cut off from society, and forced to figure out another way to live. This is why sustenance farming is so important. This is why stockpiling right now, while you still can, is so important if you can afford it. And working out some way to make money apart from the beast system, which actually I don't even know how to do right now because I'm making a living from this channel and I'm using the beast's own system to broadcast against the beast. And that can't last for long because the kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And they will figure this out. They already have figured this out. And one by one, they will continue to silence us. And for instance, I peaked at 36,000 subscribers right about the time that the election was underway, and Arnold Day Umptray was up for re-election. And about that time, they put a cap on my subscribers, and I was receiving no new subscribers because my videos aren't going out to anybody but my subscribers. And even those people are not getting notifications, getting unsubscribed. And I've lost 7,000 subscribers just in the past year. So already they are limiting my ability to make a living on this platform. And other platforms like Rumble, where I'm at, but I don't haven't uploaded in forever at Rumble because, you know, there's about 25 people who watch my videos on Rumble. Maybe I get 100 views. And that's just a tiny percentage of the overall market. And I've not been able to produce a video that went beyond my subscribership in about a year and a half, really almost 2 years, since I had a video that went beyond, say, a couple thousand views. And this is not by accident. I've been producing great content. I've never stopped producing content. You may all have a flavor of content that you like, whether it's coffee talk or it will say Orway. But even when I was producing just mainly preaching videos, I was still producing. And there's no reason why my numbers should be as bad as they are. And it's all boils down to the fact that we're being shadow banned and throttled and isolated on the internet already. So you'll get to the point where you'll be in Facebook jail all the time. And not only that, it's going to extend to every part of life. Soon, government help, your Social Security check may require you to take the you-know-what to get your Social Security, which you have coming to you through your own paying into the system over the years. And they will even keep that from you if you don't do the you-know-what. So this, in my opinion, is the mark of the beast. This signals that we are, in fact, either in the end times or right at the beginning of this tribulation period. And, you know, if you're hoping for a pre-trib rapture to save you, it's kind of late for that because I believe we're in it. And this this passport that they're trying to institute around the globe, this forced you-know-what, is going to continue to isolate those of us who refuse to take this body-altering experimental you-know-what. I'm not taking it. If you take it, that's up to you. I will say this, one of the things that I have uncovered, and if you dig a little bit, you might still find this not quite erased from the webs yet, but there was a woman who was the CEO of the biggest headhunting and personnel, actually. You know, what do they call that when you, I'm missing the phrase here, but people that do the hiring for these big corporations. And her main clients were petrochemical companies, oil companies, gas companies. And they sent out all of them, every one of her clients, every corporation. She was taking care of the hiring and firing for some of the biggest corporations in the business of the petroleum and gas industry. And they all sent the same request to her. that she be prepared to replace every single employee on the payroll at these big corporations who took the, because they said that they will just go away within 3 years, that they need to replace them within 3 years, and not to worry about severance packages, not to worry about retirement, because these people are just going to go away. That was very disturbing. I heard that a couple months ago. I think most of that information has been scrubbed, and so good luck finding it again. It might still be there at some corner of the interwebs. And you can go to places that have been banned, which are still on the internet, but not on these major platforms, and you can find that interview with the woman who is very convincing, and I do believe she is who she said she is, and she's been told that these people will need to be replaced. So the fact is, this starts to feel like a mass Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 move. And so if you don't take the prescribed medication, then you will not be allowed to participate in society. And so if you're in a blue state, get out. I've been saying that for a long time. You know, my girlfriend Catherine just escaped by the skin of her teeth what's going on in California. And she made it to free America here in Oklahoma, Texas to a degree, Missouri, West Virginia, and a host of other states that are siding on this side. Maybe the last place where commerce is still allowed to prosper around and beyond the beast system. If you have any chance of surviving this, it's going to be in a place where at least some of the people in government have the best interest of the people at heart. And I'm very sure that that this is going to happen in the near future. This is the next step in the war games. We're war gaming this out. Once they get you isolated, once they get you hungry, then they will move militarily against you, and that's when things will really get bad. So you kind of got a choice. Take this time to prepare. Make your move now before they expect it. There's always that. I'm not signing up for that right now, and I'm not encouraging that, but that is an option. Or you just wait till they get you so weak that your back is against the wall and you have no choice but to make a last stand. And hopefully our states will stand up before then. Hopefully we'll collectively, as a people and as a group of marginalized citizens now, segregated by our desire to keep our health decisions our own, and not be forced into doing something that we don't want to do for whatever reason it is. This is a loss of freedom that many of us are not going to cotton to. We're not going to put up with it, and we're not going to take this thing no matter what you do to us. And if you want to fight us over it, then the fight is on. And that's the future as I see it. That's the next step in the wargaming. Products are going to be harder to get. Banking is going to be restricted. Access to the internet is going to be restricted. And sooner or later, push is going to come to shove. All right, well, until next time on War Games.
Would you like to play a game?
That's not a mechanical voice. That's something
I can do. I can talk like this whenever I want to, even with the sore throat.
We'll see you next time on War Games. And God bless the New Republic, because this one's shot.